Welcome to the video, guys. Marvel has amazed the world with its million-dollar franchise. Every single movie that we saw, be it Captain America, Iron Man, or the Avengers, was iconic.
Sorry.
The love for these movies needs no evidence, as their business is enough to prove it.
I think I'm having a panic attack.
Come here.
Yeah,
Right here.
this is bad.
We all believe that we know everything about Marvel's Inside Out, yet there are many things that you'll be delighted to know.
Thor, what do you know?
In this video, we're going to share with you the top 15 marvelous facts about Marvel movies and their actors. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to this channel to watch more amazing videos. 1. Chris Evans turned down the role of Captain America 3 times.
You know what's in that cradle? The power to make real change, and that terrifies you.
I wouldn't call it a comfort.
I don't think someone has the audacity to reject a Marvel role, and that too of Captain America. But there's a reason Chris Evans is one of a kind. So when he first heard of the character, he rejected it immediately, and not only once, he rejected it 3 times. What's even funnier is, he didn't reject the film because he didn't like the script, but he rejected it because he knew that this movie would bring huge success to his career. And that was what he was scared of.
You were initially reluctant to be Captain America, though.
Yeah, I was scared because at first it was some 9-picture contract, and there are parts of me that have a little bit of social anxiety with this industry, and
he thought after such a break, his privacy would be affected, so he declined. Later, Iron Man came and convinced him. And thank God he did, because I believe no one could be better than Chris Evans for this role. 2. Anthony Hopkins improvised the banishment of Thor.
You are unworthy of these realms, unworthy of your title!
Thor's father was one of the most iconic roles in the movie, and when MCU chose Anthony Hopkins, they'd already gained huge followership for them. Imagine the Shakespearean directing of Kenneth Branagh and Hopkins acting. It turned out to be the most memorable, commanding performance as Thor's father, and at least some of the performance was improvised.
Do you understand what he has set in motion? He's taken us to the brink of war.
But banishment!
Hopkins was given a free hand to improvise all the emotional banishment scenes in Thor, and when Hopkins, the banishment of Thor, his co-stars were stunned. Number 3. 3 Marvel movies take place in the same week. Marvel Studios planned big after the huge success of Iron Man in 2008, so he decided to launch 3 Marvel movies together. So Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and Thor all came out in the same week. And I believe it was again the massive success of these movies and the love for their stars that gave birth to the Avengers.
I'm always angry.
4. Chadwick made up the Wakanda accent.
Why do you have your toes out in my lap?
But you don't like my royal sandals. I wanted to go old school for my first day.
Chadwick Boseman, the legendary actor, was an American actor. When he was presented the role of Black Panther, he devised a Wakandan accent for his role to sound rich, intimidating, and believable. Thus, Marvel Studios decided to use the real-world language of Xhosa as a stand-in for the fictional Wakandan dialect, which is the official language of South Africa. 5. Why Captain America isn't eating in a post-credit scene of the Avengers. Directors decided to do a fun scene in which all the brave heroes go out for shawarma after winning the Battle of New York in the Avengers.
You ever tried shawarma? There's a shawarma joint about 2 blocks from here. I don't know what it is, but I want to try it.
By then, Chris Evans had grown a beard for his next super hit movie, Snowpiercer, and couldn't shave it for the last-minute scene. In the scenes where his presence was important, he wore a prosthetic jaw and half-covered his face with his hand. Well, you have to pay a price when you're a perfectionist. 6. Agent Coulson wasn't even supposed to have a name.
I can no longer, in good conscience, let the testing continue.
We should always believe that God has bigger plans for us. Clark Gregg, also known as Agent Coulson, was signed for just 2 scenes. But those 2 scenes were the reason that he went on to be starred in Iron Man 2, Thor the Avengers, and Captain Marvel, as well as leading the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and that too in a very important role. It is said that director Jon Favreau liked Gregg's chemistry with Downey and Gwyneth Paltrow. His part of thus expanded into became a huge name. 7. Thor Ragnarok had a much different title in Japan.
We call you the stupid Avenger.
You're tiny Avenger!
To match the Japanese traditions, Thor Ragnarok had to become Mighty Thor Battle Royale, which was taken from the famous Japanese novel and film about child competitors fighting to the death in the arena. Since Thor is forced to compete for the entertainment of the Grand Master, the altered title fits. Therefore, Japan had its version of Thor. 8. Doctor Strange was almost a horror movie. Destined to be a marvel, but conceptualized as a horror movie, Doctor Strange was inspired by horror initially. Wes Craven wanted to direct Doctor Strange film in 1992, which couldn't happen due to some reasons. So fortunately, the one you saw was the Doctor Strange that happened.
This doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does.
9. The first person to play Ant-Man on screen appears in the first movie, and it's not Paul Rudd.
You don't remember me? We met several times. It's AntMan. AntMan.
You might not recognize him, but Garrett Morris played an Ant-Man in 1978 Saturday Night Live sketch called Superhero Party, with host Margot Kidder. Morris told that Ant-Man director Peyton Reed, a fan of the sketch, contacted his manager and asked the actor to make a cameo. So he gave a short scene as the driver of a car Scott Lang lands on while trying to get used to his shrinking suit. 10. The war rhinos in Black Panther were played by really big horses. No wonder they say never believe your eyes, because if you could, you would have known that the battle scene at the climax of Black Panther, which showed many armored rhinos ridden by members of Wakanda's border tribe, were played by Clydesdale horses. According to Associate Visual Effects Supervisor Todd Sheridan Perry's comments to VFX Voice, a special effect was given to make them look more like rhinos instead of horses. 11. Robert Downey Jr. snuck some tasty props onto the Avengers and Game Set. When you are a fan of comic movies and you get to play a role in it as well, what would you do? Bring your favorite snack on the set to enjoy the memorable scenes while snacking like a teenager? Well, Robert Downey Jr. did the same. Not only did he sneak some snacks onto the set secretly, he also offers some of them to the rest of the crew in one moment that made it into the movie. 12. The villain of SpiderMan Far From Home almost played the hero instead.
See, that wasn't so hard.
Before the shoot of Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire got injured. Jake Gyllenhaal, who played the duplicitous and theatrical Quentin Beck Mysterio, was considered to take the place of Tobey Maguire. However, thankfully Maguire recovered in time to play Peter Parker again. But isn't it strange that Gyllenhaal was acknowledged among several actors for the emergency pinch hit? 13. Kenneth Choi played his grandson in SpiderMan Homecoming. It didn't sound strange if it was some Bollywood movie like Bahubali, where the father and son are played by the same hero, but in a Marvel movie, that sounds pretty strange. Kenneth Choi first appeared in the MCU for Captain America: The First Avenger, where he portrayed Jim Morita, a member of Cap's Howling Commando allies. A few years later, Choi appeared as Peter Parker's Principal Morita, the grandson of Jim. Funny fact, Principal Morita kept a picture of his grandfather behind his desk to ensure that his grandfather had the same face too. 14. The character of Fandral was played by 3 different actors. You would again be shocked to know that finding the right man for Fandral, the Dashing, proved to be really hard, and at first, Zachary Levi was cast in the role for the first Thor. But he had other obligations, so Stuart Townsend was approached. Townsend also dropped out over creative differences. And finally, Josh Dallas played Fandral in Thor, but not for long, as he was replaced in the Dark World by Marvel Studios' first choice Zachary Levi.
Do we have a plan here? Stand in the fight!
15. An Oscar winner scored Marvel's creator Stan Lee's dream role. Anthony Hopkins was fortunate to bag the role of Thor's father. You would believe it once you realize that back in 2009, the great Stan Lee said that he dreamt to play the character of Thor's father, Odin, which was a huge honor for the movie makers and Hopkins, who played the role. That's all for now, guys. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon to watch more of our amazing videos.